while our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Does he have it? Yes, he does! And that might be the knockout punch.
Greetings and salutations. Another episode of Fangs up here. And it's classic week, y'all. Like, let's go ahead and talk about the sponsors real quick. Shout out HBCU Digital Network, CableBustersTV.com. Big shout out to them as well. Also, not a sponsor, but a fellow member of the HBCU Digital Network, Herb Seward, the Black Techies. And tomorrow, he's gonna have a space. Basketball, though. If you're not familiar, Herb's a huge basketball fan, and he loves talking about the sport. Like he does. But that being stated, FAMU athletics has been we've been in a nice little sweet spot. I mean, now the bowling team's not there. The bowling team is in a lull. They are tied for 11th place in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, meaning we're last. But tomorrow, through the 20th, they are going to be playing in the Hornet Classic in Montgomery. And I'm going to recklessly speculate that if you're an Alabama State fan, you might get a little bit of get back because this hasn't been our best season. But what we will do is we're going to keep trying. And that's what I need to see. Just as a fan, as an alumni, I want to see trying. I want to see effort. I want to see growth. Always want growth. Forward. Always forward. But I want growth. And from the women's basketball team, I'm seeing that. Volleyball, I'm seeing regression. But women's basketball, that team, I was excited. I told y'all I went to South Florida, not as obviously I'm a FAMU graduate, but I went to the game against the University of South Florida, and I got there late. I kind of get in, I walk into the arena, and the England Center is pretty cool. I mean, it's very steep as far as arenas go, but I left there even with a significant loss with hope. The team looked confident. We looked better than we did last year. I felt like we looked a lot better, and I came away impressed. Truthfully, honestly, I was in a position where, as a alumni and a fan and a supporter of FAMU, that I was like, okay, I don't mind throwing some bones away. That was a good showing because even though you got beat by a team that was more talented than you. And in that moment, you were upset with what was going on. Like, you just couldn't because it kind of was what it was. Like, USF had a really good team. They're shooting 3-pointers. They're hitting their shots. FAMU's playing, kind of trying to play in the paint, but also spread the court out with some long range shots. The shots don't fall, and you're like, okay, but I see promise here. Our players look better. Like I said it on Sunday. Last year's team compared to this year's team beats them by about 15. And man, lo and behold, me the next game after saying coach is giving me some confidence, she's giving me reason to have confidence. FAMU wins that game against Georgia State, 65-57 at home. That's an early season win against a team that's not in HBCU and that's not in the SWAC and that's not in the lower division. Hope springs eternal, and that right there is the kind of hope I need as a fan. I want to be able to see that we can win these games. I don't want to keep losing. I want to be better than that. And so far, so good. Like, you're giving me something to hope for. And that's all that I can ask for. All that I can ask for is for that to happen. Like, I want us to win games. I want us to be good. And yeah, like I want for that to happen. And forgive me for looking over this direction. I was trying to keep up with the women's basketball score, and I could not. It was difficult. So, but full disclosure, this is pre-recorded by about 20 or 30 minutes, trying to catch my barber so I don't catch all your cousins out there in the streets, because it's going to be packed around the Citrus Bowl. So, that being stated, it's a pre-recording. Um, yeah. But tonight, again, we have Michigan State. The game started at 6. So as I get on the streets and once I finish, I'm going to go check and see what's going on. And then we also have Eastern Michigan. That's going to be on Saturday, 1 o'clock, ESPN3. So the ladies going to miss the classic. Sorry, ladies. But we do appreciate your efforts. Y'all are doing great. And I mean, it's a weekend full of stuff. I mean, tomorrow, SWAC championship starts, and your co-SWAC champions come in as the number 2 seed. We're the number 2 seed because supposedly when we beat Alabama State, we beat them 3-2. When they beat us, it was 3-1. So they got the tiebreaker that way, though, and despite the fact we share the conference championship. So 1 o'clock, hope you find somewhere, but 4 o'clock is where the game starts. So see, I made that slip and tried to fix it. But the meat and potatoes, the thing that's going to bring y'all here, that really brought you here. And again, probably gonna be a little short episode today. We're gonna keep it tight because trying to get kind of cleaned up and before everything happens, everything pops off. Hope they didn't pop too loud. But the Florida, it is the premier HBCU classic in the state. One of the best in the nation. Top 3. I'll go there. Top 3. Might be top. If you want to slide it to 5, I wouldn't argue, but Florida Classic is in my top 3. That's just me. I'm biased. I own my bias. I think it's top 3. But the game's going to be on ESPN3 on Saturday. And yeah, we're looking at about 3 o'clock kick there. I'll double check. But it's going to be good crowd. If you don't already have your tickets on the FAMU side, good luck. The FAMU side is pretty much sold out. 2:30 is when kickoff is. So I have my butt up there early. But the game is going to be on ESPN3. And if you're looking on paper and you're looking at the results, FAMU should blow out Bethune-Cookman. But if you're being a realist and you're being honest about what you've seen from FAMU in the past half of the season, this game might be closer than a lot of you think. And with what is at stake, this could be Cookman's way to ruin your season. I'm just going to be honest. Last year, we broke the streak. And COVID has a part to play in that. Like, let's not diminish that. You're playing against a BCU team with a lot of questions. And not a lot of trash talk is being made. There's not a lot of the normal petty, just because a lot of the Cookmanites have resigned to the fact that they're probably going to lose. It kind of is what it is. But this is when teams are most dangerous. When nobody expects them to lose. I mean, when nobody's giving them a chance. They're walking into that stadium with nobody but that band and those people in the stands to support them. This is a game where you need to watch out for. Offensively, Bethune can score, and they are opportunistic. And this is one of those games where traditionally BCU pulls out all the stops. They are not. This is not a game where you look for them to be conservative. This could be Coach Sims' last game. They're going to try everything they can to win this game, just like you should. But you have 2 completely different offenses. You have an offensive head coach versus a defensive head coach. The offensive head coach spreads the ball out a lot, risk it, whereas the defensive coach He runs the ball more. He will throw it, but not as recklessly. And watch out for that. Watch out for BCU's offense. Like offense to offense, FAMU should win. But FAMU commits a lot of turnovers. And BCU converts turnovers into points. Like, don't misunderstand. They still have an NFL quality tight end. At least I think he's NFL quality. I don't think he's first, second round, but he's quality. He's good. And yeah, I mean that's just being honest about it. Like they have talent over there too. BCU can score quickly. Watch out for that. That's not something that we should take lightly. Make sure that I think FAMU's offense, make sure you establish the run and stick to it as best as possible. Run your pass plays, but understand that you should dominate Cookman on the line. Not that they're not good, but a very young team, a lot of attrition, a lot of things. Their backs are against the wall. And the fact that their backs are against the wall, punch them in the mouth. Like, don't come up here trying to, sucker them into this and trick them into that. No. Punch them in the mouth, make them submit early, and then just beat the hell out of them. That's what you need to do on offense. Defensively, you're superior. FAMU's offense can score in bunches, as can Cookman's. But FAMU's defense, there's a slight talent advantage. Again, some of that is due to attrition. But with Cookman, they have a mobile quarterback. Those quarterbacks have given FAMU hell all year. They also have a running game, but who's running? They lost a running back early. I'm not sure if he's back, but you got that. And again, the tight end, you got to cover him. Your linebackers are going to have to play well in coverage. And you may have to put a safety at that linebacker spot sometimes. It's not a nuanced concept because, yes, you're giving up something in tackling, but you gain something in coverage. I'm just thinking out loud. That might be an idea. Give up something in coverage to get something in tackling. I still think FAMU has an advantage defensively. But, again, both defenses are opportunistic. Do not be surprised if you see 3 or 4 interceptions this game or 3 or 4 turnovers. It's going to be a great game. Hopefully, the trash talk doesn't and the silly penalties don't change the outcome of the game. Keep the refs out of this. The refs have a job. They're supposed to call holding, pass interference, and all that. Unsportsmanlike conduct, that's a flag you're making him throw or her. Don't make them throw flags. Have them throw flags, but don't make them do it. A holding penalty is going to happen. Face mask is going to happen. Unsportsmanlike conduct for talking or taunting. Unless you're up 40, don't taunt him. When you're up 40, you hit the high step, do the Heisman, shuck and jive all the way to the end zone. We're going to laugh at it. We're going to say it's classless, but we're going to laugh at it. You're beating them. You get that. But avoid the stupid penalties. That's got to be something on both sides. Somebody's talking bad about you and they say something about your mama. First and foremost, they ain't never met that lady before. And 99% of the time, they've never been with that lady before. And if they have been with that lady, that's between them. Hope she had fun. But don't get suckered in and lose your team an opportunity of a lifetime to just make the playoffs. Part of making the playoffs is the exposure. Don't lose that. Like, do well, win this game, go home, and try to create an opportunity to hopefully host a playoff game. Now, special teams, it depends. Depends on where the wind blows, literally. Because I'm inclined to, kick return wise, I'm giving it to Cookman. I watched some of their games. They've looked better in kick return than we have. But that's not because our kick return is not good. It's just because Sometimes teams don't want our kick returns returning the ball. They know what's up. Field goal, extra point wise, it depends what's up with the win. And what kind of looks are we going to give our kickers? If we're giving them bad looks, they're not going to do well. If we give them good looks and good opportunities, they're going to do well. But in the red zone, I don't need you to run the ball on first down. I mean the ball on first down. I don't need that. Play sound football. Get in, get out, and do what you got to do. Win the game with good fundamentals. Win the game with common sense. When you're up 20, get cute. Oh, it's the seniors' last game. We're up 24 or more. All right, run your double flea flicker pass, whatever, flip to do whatever. But when we're up 6, don't try to put a nail in somebody's coffin with some crazy trick play that ain't worked all season. Or if you run it once, don't run it again. Because it's not going to be there the second time. They've seen it. They haven't even watched the film. They lived it. So it's fresh in their mind like, oh, snap, this guy just did this. They're going to run that. Like, keep the offense, simplify it. Run the offense at tempo when you can. But also, in running it at tempo, remind Musa to ensure that everyone gets set. Because he does great in tempo. He does great when he gets into a rhythm. But he has to let the receivers get set, the running backs. Otherwise, we get dumb penalties. I mean, it just kind of happens. I mean, I wish I was lying. But I'm telling the truth. The last part of that, though, and I kind of went away and bounced around there, the atmosphere. The atmosphere is going to be the craziest thing we've seen all season. You're not going to see anything else like this. Maybe homecoming, maybe. But homecoming, you're not going to have that crowd that's half and half. And again, the FAMU side is filling up. Y'all anticipating a win. So on paper, my takeaway and my expectation, FAMU should win. But this game might be closer than the experts think. Because not just because of it's a rivalry. You can throw everything out the window because of rivalry. No, it's not just that. It's because BCU is playing for their coach, who's been given a raw deal. Coach Sims has something and has people that are playing for him. And he's a good coach. But also because we are turnover prone. FAMU is extremely prone to making mistakes. Check the last game. That game should not have been that close. It was literally 21-14, and you could have lost that game 17-15. You were this close from losing that game. The Southern game, it was a good game. It wasn't great. UAPB, another one. We left points on the board. Like, keep looking back. And somebody said it best, and I think it was Scotty. And I probably give Scotty too many references, but he's off script. But FAMU plays down to the level of competition. And we play up or down to our competition level. Yeah, excuse me. And that's something that you don't want. Like, you should have the standard should be the standard. And I haven't seen that this year. Again, the Southern game, offensively, I thought that was our best game. That's just me. I think offensively, defensively, that's our first 60 minutes of football I've seen all season. And Southern really could have won that game at times. They could have done some things differently to make that different. But this is a game where you have to establish the run, wear their defensive line down. And at times, you're going to have to get out of the shotgun to do it. Again, I said last, I'm done arguing and complaining about the formations, but this is a game where you can literally run them out of the freaking stadium. Get Xavier Smith his 52 yards so he can go over 1,000, then run the ball. Run it down their throats. Wear that defensive line out. And in the second half, hit some play actions, win the classic. Just win the classic. Do what you're supposed to do. Stay on schedule offensively and win the classic. Don't play. Don't sit up here and try to do anything different than what you should do. Just win, baby. That's it. And honestly, it sounds like it's that simple, but there's a lot at stake. If you win this game, you've pretty much been told that you stand a great chance of hosting a playoff game. But you can't look at that. You can't. That should be the furthest thing from your mind. The most important game is the Bethune-Cookman game because it's the next game you're playing. And Coach Simmons said that. This is a game that you have to win because you have players, NFL futures potentially laying here because Isaiah Land missed that UNC game. But a home game at Bragg against a non-SWAC opponent that's supposed to be pretty good, depending on whoever they are, that would look really good on film. What about BJ Bowler? Again, what about Kendall Bowler? You got to create opportunities that are going to allow you to give your student athletes an opportunity to shine in front of an audience. And just to be honest with you, aren't a lot of people that won't want to come to Florida in late November, early December to cover a football game. It's not going to be 60, doubtful. It's 60 degrees. Probably be 40s or 50s depending on kickoff. But Florida during the winter in some areas when it's snowing, you're going to have teams that are going to come down here, and the Bragg atmosphere is something different. So, but it's classic weekend, y'all. I'm about to go check and try to catch my barber right fast. Hopefully I see you at the stadium and in and around the area. But we got to win this game. I mean, this is your rival. I'm sorry. Jackson State's not my rival. I don't even, if you notice, people say stupid stuff. You know, somebody's got one thing up there. They've convinced us that this is the best thing for us. No, it's the only option. Like, the playoffs are your only way to extend your season. I don't argue with people on that kind of stuff. I'm not arguing who's better. They beat us head to head. Jackson State beat us. So I'm not going to argue about who should, whatever. No. It wasn't close. But we have a chance to continue our season and to do what's in the best interest for us. And it's not related to some other coach or something like that. It's because FAMU potentially is about to have another really good season as far as win-loss record. And we earned that. Not because of somebody else, not because of what some other coach has done, but because of what Willie Simmons, his staff, his alumni, his students, and his supporters and his team have done. They've earned that. So that being stated, I'm not going to have that argument with people about somebody giving us that, or we're being misled or run amok or bamboozled into thinking that this is the best thing. No. If you give me an option, I want the SWAC bid for the Celebration Bowl. I want that. But if it's not an option and I get to play, I want my athletes and my students to get a chance to play. I'd rather them go to the playoffs, get the opportunity to play one last time than to just, well, we won the classic, season's over. Because while it may not be likely in some eyes, what if? So that being stated, y'all, I'm about to go catch my Fred. I'm loyal to my barber, so I don't be cheating on him. So I'm about to go catch him, get this lined up, get this thing. I'm gonna get this taken down, but I'm gonna try to keep the beard. I'm trying to grow it out. See, we trying something. So, but that being stated, y'all, I look forward to seeing y'all for the game. Dress warm. It is cold out here in these Orlando streets. It's probably going to be 50 degrees by halftime. Don't be up here in your cute outfit with your thighs hanging out and your chest open, and then come back sounding like this. Like, well, I caught a cold. I can't go to work. Don't do that. Y'all got Thanksgiving break, and you about to mess it up to be cute. Don't do that. Don't do that. So dress accordingly. Jackets, hoodies, and warm drinks. Expect them to not have hot chocolate and coffee at the stadium. It just is what it is, man. Like, it is what it is. So as always, though, y'all, big shout out cablebusterstv.com, HBCU Digital Network, and the Black Techies. Catch Herb Seward tomorrow. I believe it's 6 o'clock. He's going to be doing his spaces. I'm going to show you if I can try to convince Herb. See, we can just go live and just see if we can do something to go live. We'll talk to our people and see what we can do to have just a basketball space and just talk for like an hour. Let him get it. Let him get it out of the system. And let me get it out of my system as well, because I think I'm becoming more of a girls basketball fan. Back to that. So at least with FAMU. So we'll see. Hey, you win games, you excite me. So that being stated, as always, y'all, it's always going to be Fangs Up. Thank you for listening. And as always, it's Fangs Up.
Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started. Are you kidding me? Unreal.
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor,